I haven't done anything. I mean, I've seen things in this house that in 15 years I've never noticed. Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't even know this was here, or wow, look at that. They, because I've been in here for so long. It gets. I don't get bored because I've been home talking, doing calls, and then, I got my little sidekick right here. It's her birthday today, by the way. Come here. So she's always jumping on me. And now that I'm calling her, she's not coming. But yeah, today's her birthday.
All right.
Yeah, she's Big 10 today, humming me. But I've been on the phone too, and she'll like see something outside and she'll start barking, and I'm like, thinking it's like when she's looking at me like. But yeah, I dig that. I think that's cool.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
LAWSTACHE Law Firm
at GEO Corrections Western Region Detention Facility, San Diego. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse this call, hang up now. Thank you for using T-Medics. You may start the conversation now.
Okay, so let me close this out. Let me make this bigger so I can see better. Whoa.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just not much. Really nothing. I'm tired of being locked up in here, and it's getting old. It's not that bad. So when I first, how the way we work, we're like here and there, and then back there and over there, and then back over here and there. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
So the first couple of weeks, I did feel the impact. I was getting anxiety. I couldn't fall asleep at night because I wasn't tired. I was staying up till 3 a.m. and then getting up at 9, 10 o'clock sometimes even. So my schedule's off, my eating schedule's off, but I still exercise, still box. I haven't gone to the gym, obviously. You can't go to the gym, but it hasn't been that bad. So now that I'm over the anxious part of being home, I'm more relaxed, and now I'm starting to enjoy it more. And now I'm actually a little worried about when things resume that I'm not going to want to go back to work.
I have found, and you can tell me how you feel about this, sort of interesting challenge with dealing with clients over the phone.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually going to ask you about that.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel, but when I talk to my clients in person, I clearly rely on you not only to translate, but really be that physical connection and portray trustworthiness to the client.
Right.
And it seems like now that's sort of missing, right? You're playing this part now where you just translate in between. It's a 3-way call.
Right.
And so it seems difficult because I feel like the clients are not getting that I trust you, I trust your interpreter to be translating everything correctly.
Yeah, it's completely different in a lot of different ways because, number one, it's not only harder on them. You're right. There's no human contact.
Yeah.
So, but it makes it hard for me also because, usually I'll when I'm translating, I'm doing it at the same time. It's I'm kind of going with your flow, and now I have 2 jobs. Now I have to translate, but I also have to remember everything that's being said. And sometimes the attorneys forget, sometimes the clients forget, and they just run on and on and on and on and on.
Well, because you're missing that physical cue, right? Usually you would get that, I'm not going to interrupt the attorney speaking, and then seconds later the interpreter actually translating to me. Right. Now they don't see me talking. Right. And so to a client who doesn't speak your language, English is going to be just a noise, right? That's the problem when you know multiple languages. Right. You understand them, right? But if you don't know the language, it's just noise.
Yeah, the communication is one thing, but you're right. I think that probably the biggest part is the human contact, the trust, because like whenever you see a client for the first time, maybe even the second time, they're very reserved. They're different 3-4 times into the case. visits, because by then they trust you. You know me. I mean, I always joke around with them, and I always make them laugh. Throw a joke in there, and that makes them feel comfortable. Like, okay, you know, these guys they're cool. They're, you know, one of us. They're not, you know, like this isn't going to be the way it was at the Border Patrol station, you know, where they were being mean or demanding that I say this or whatever the case was, you know. So it definitely makes it harder. In all these years, obviously not just this, but this is unprecedented. I mean, it's never happened.
Other than the difficulty of talking over the phone, another problem is just the way it's set up, that our in-person visits were always in the room, and there's this presumption that it's going to be confidential. Nobody's going to hear it. I'm not going to tell the story to anyone else outside the room. You're not going to say anything because you work for me. That's the idea, right? And there's this trust that nobody's recording this. So initially, there's right away this fear that somebody's recording this call.
Right.
And of course, they you know, we explain to our clients that, you know, it's not recorded, so the prosecutor can't use this. So then, of course, the next challenge becomes that the phone is located in this public common area.
That's what I was, right.
And so I explained to my clients, and you've heard me say it, that be careful what you say, because everything I'm about to tell you, nobody can hear. Right. Anything you tell me, yes, is confidential on the line. But if somebody's behind you and they can hear whatever you're saying, that can potentially put you in danger. So
right. We don't know what's going on in the background. We don't know. We don't know who's listening. I mean, all we can do is hear. But there's a lot of things are going to be left out if that's the case. You know, they're not going to be 100% open or honest, or they don't want, because you hear the noise, you hear the background noise, you hear the guys or people talking and yelling, and it gets pretty loud. So, you know, I can only imagine that it's, like you said, maybe a big open common space where there's just a lot of people kicking it, hanging out, you know? Yeah. And so this has actually been a positive thing for some of your clients, right? Because a lot of them were sentenced to time served when normally there would have been a lot more time.
Yeah. I think the positive here is a lot of my clients, the prosecutors and judges, recognized that there are people with legitimate medical concerns, and that those people, I think, even without COVID, would have been in big trouble while in custody, right? Yeah. Like I had a client who had open heart surgery and a valve installed while he was in custody waiting for his sentence.
During the pandemic, or
just now? Yeah, like last month. And he probably would have never gotten that great of a deal. He would have probably gotten less time, but I don't think the judge would have recognized or the prosecutor that this is a legitimate concern. They would have probably lowered the sentence somewhat, but not time served. And that's what he got. He got time served because people got scared and afraid of, this person is in great danger being in custody. We need to get him out.
Interesting times for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting legal exercise of what's going to happen, right? We're all of a sudden seeing people released on bond, but without really any financial backing, allowing people to go out on their own recognizance, so they just have to come back at a certain time,
right? Which
is really how the federal bail reform was structured from the beginning. The idea was that only dangerous people, only people that are potentially going to run away, you give them this financial requirement. Everyone else should have been released on OR from the beginning. So right. Now it's going to be very interesting to see if people come back to their court dates in the same numbers that they were before the quarantine happened. Then you really have to ask yourself, was it necessary to put a $30,000 bond on somebody when he would have returned anyways? And you know that the people we're dealing with, a lot of our clients they've lived in San Diego their whole life, all their families here, and to legitimately say that they can run away to Mexico is not realistic. They don't have anyone there. They don't have any connection to Mexico. Why would they do that?
That's more often than not, actually. I've seen.
Yeah.
And I actually have seen some bond amounts that are just outrageous when clearly the person has roots here. It's not even, they're not looking at an enormous amount of time, and it's like the bail amounts have just been, some of them have been really high, So that, I think it could change things also. This, people are going to realize the way things get inflated, right now it's kind of retracting and coming back down. I think people are going to realize maybe we were doing things to this or to that. Obviously we got through this period, functioning this way.
I think finally we're recognizing that being in prison or jail is very difficult and sometimes deadly for certain groups of people. And so all of a sudden you have this recognition that somebody that has 30 pre-existing conditions, well, that person couldn't really survive in prison from the beginning, and we should have looked at alternatives for them.
Right. Or they who knows, they might even set up a different kind of system for people like that. Because the jails, from what I understand right now, the jails are pretty much infested. A lot of people are getting sick. There's always lockdowns, and I don't know how they're handling it, but it's inevitable. You've got all these people locked up in one space. And the way this particular virus is spreading, it's inevitable, and I was funny because I was talking to my daughter and props to all of the, frontline workers, the supermarket workers, the doctors and nurses. They've been great, right? What about, has anybody thought about the correctional officers, that are risking their lives?
Yeah.
Go to these places that are, have high numbers of cases to keep the public safe, to keep inmates safe. They props to them too, because they get up every day.
The marshal services, all of them.
Right. Yeah. Even the police officers. I see, police officers, they're all wearing their face masks, but they're out. They're out and they're dealing with people and putting their lives at risk also. Even the Border Patrol agents. It's funny, actually, the Border Patrol agent that I had stopped to ask for directions yesterday. I was actually joking with him, and I asked him, shouldn't you be wearing a face mask out here? And he laughed and he looked around. He's like, come on, man. There's nobody out here. Wait, but how does my hair look?
Perfect.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I'm talking about my beard, by the way.
I know you shaved perfectly for the episode.
Yeah, it's actually, so I taped it on for the episode. No, absolutely, it's always fun, and obviously always funner when we're hanging out together.